Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you all here in our today's webinar. My name is Adam Głuszuk, and I will guide you through the whole meeting today. Here with me is Magdalena Chomicka, who will also present some information concerning Marie Skłodowska-Curie and especially RISE projects, which is the main topic of our today's webinar. Me and Magdalena, we are national contact points in Poland for Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, and we will provide you updated information concerning Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. It will be the first part of the presentation will be the introduction to the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, and the second part, which Magda will present, concerns the specific rules and information concerning RISE projects, which are Research and Innovation Staff Exchange in Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. This webinar is recorded. This is for your information, and thanks to that, the recording, the webinar will be available at the project website later on after the meeting. And the project itself, European Easter Partnership. To begin with this webinar and to begin with the presentation, first I will give you some general and most important information about this project. So this webinar, Research and Innovation Staff Exchange, Opportunities in Horizon 2020, is a seventh webinar organized under this project. And about the project, the EaP Plus and its main activities. The EaP Plus multi-level support actions. It's a 3-year-old coordination and support action funded under Horizon 2020, and it is dedicated to STI cooperation between European countries and Easter Partnership countries. The project lasts until 31st August 2019. It includes partners from all the 6 Easter Partnership countries and from several EU member states. Its objectives are, first, to support the policy dialogue between countries of the European Union and Easter Partnership. Secondly, to foster interaction between these countries, between researchers from these countries, and to promote Horizon 2020, especially in Easter Partnership countries. And third, to enhance the research and innovation partnership between these two groups of countries. Concerning the second objective, the interaction between researchers from EU and Easter Partnership countries and promotion of Horizon 2020, within the project there are grants foreseen. The grants are for researchers from Easter Partnership countries to attend brokerage events in European Union or preparatory meetings for Horizon 2020. More information you can find at the project website. You can see the link at the slide. Secondly, info days and support to Horizon 2020 NCP networks in all Easter Partnership countries, which means training, awareness campaigns for national contact points. And third, targeted cooperation with scientific diaspora. Using input from also the previous project, INCONET, Easter Partnership, meaning policies and national databases, and organization of 6 diaspora workshops. And fourth, development of webinars, such as today's. There are 11 webinars foreseen for Horizon 2020 and 6 for specific innovation-related topics. Just to ask you about technical organization, please let us know if you can see the slides and you can hear me well. If you could confirm, please use the chat facility. Let us know that all the technicals are working fine. Concerning the grants for networking foreseen in the EaP Plus project, the grant support is for research institutions, SMEs and industry, as well as local authorities and civil society. They can be used to attend either a brokerage event or a preparatory meeting, and candidates can apply for one event scheduled until 30th June 2019. The final deadline for submission of applications is 13th May 2019, unless the available budget is consumed earlier. Guide for applicants is available at the project website. You can see the link you can use. As for other planned webinars, there is one planned for 21st February, which will be about financial and legal issues of Horizon 2020. It will begin at 10:30 Warsaw time. And the 9th webinar is to be confirmed yet. RDI webinars, internationalization of RDI activities, exploring the models of international innovation partnerships. It is planned for May 2019. But if you'd like to suggest other webinar topics, you are welcome, and feel free to contact us with your questions and with your suggestions. This is the link. This is the address of the main page of the project. You can find also information about the project in social media such as Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. And now I would like to go to the presentation concerning Marie Skłodowska-Curie project and the RISE grant, meaning Research and Innovation Staff Exchange. First, some general and most important information concerning the Marie Skłodowska-Curie program, the all actions. As you can see, there are several actions, like innovative training networks, individual fellowships, co-fund, and the Research and Innovation Staff Exchange, which we will talk today about. First, the general objective of Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions is to ensure optimum development and dynamic use of Europe's intellectual capital in order to generate new skills, knowledge, and innovation. This is to be done by promotion of attractive working and employment conditions. It means that all researchers, every person working in a grant has to have an attractive working conditions and must be employed according to the rules of the European Commission. Secondly, development of innovative training schemes. This is meant especially for the early stage researchers. Third, enhancement of academic and non-academic cooperation, which is very important in the RISE project, and communication of research results and popularization of science, which is should be a regular, normal activity in each Marie Skłodowska-Curie grant. Key features of Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. First of all, what can be funded under the program? The main feature and very characteristic is a bottom-up approach. It means that in the Marie Skłodowska-Curie program, the European Commission doesn't propose any topics, any research fields to be financed in a call, but it is done the opposite way. The applicants propose a topic, a research field that can be funded by the European Commission. All domains of research and innovation are funded, from basic research to market take-up and also innovation services, as well as transfer of knowledge and training through research. Secondly, who can benefit from the grants and who can work in the Marie Skłodowska-Curie project. Researchers of any nationality are welcome, but not only researchers, managers, administrative and technical personnel as well. Those staff that support projects' research and innovation activities. What is also very important, the European Commission divides researchers into two groups, early stage researchers and experienced researchers. The third, where the grants may be implemented. So all types of organizations can benefit from the grants, can use and implement the grants, from academic and non-academic sector, which means universities, research institutes, companies, hospitals, NGOs, etc., etc. Countries are divided into three groups. There are, of course, European Union member states. There are countries associated to Horizon 2020, which benefit from the same rules as member states. And there are also third countries, which can also benefit from the grants. Some of them can receive funding from the European Commission, some of them not. But especially in the Research and Innovation Staff Exchange, in the RISE type of projects, third countries are especially welcome. There is a very important eligibility condition, international mobility, which means in practice that each researcher, each person working in the project must move abroad to work in the project actually. Concerning institutions, in Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, this is the next slide. The European Commission divides institutions into two groups, two sectors. First, academic sector, and second, non-academic. The academic sector are public or private higher education institutions awarding academic degrees. There are also public or private non-profit research organizations and international European interest organizations. Non-academic sector are all the others, for example, companies, small or big or medium-sized enterprises. Institutions from both sectors can choose a role in the Marie Skłodowska-Curie grant, either a beneficiary or a partner organization. There are some differences. Beneficiaries sign the grant agreement with the European Commission, and they are responsible for executing all project activities, proposed research and training program. Beneficiaries also receive funding directly from the European Commission. Partner organizations do not sign the grant agreement with the European Commission. They usually sign a letter of commitment and a consortium agreement. They are involved in trainings and secondments, of course, and they claim costs back from beneficiaries. Researchers, as I mentioned before, are divided into two groups. Early stage researchers are those who have less than 4 years of research experience and do not hold a PhD degree yet. Experienced researchers are those persons who have more than 4 years of research experience, or they already hold a PhD degree. As you can see in the next slide, there are 5 different Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. The individual fellowships, this action is for individual researchers, and for this type of grant, researchers apply directly to the European Commission in cooperation with a hosting institution organization in an EU member state or associated country. And all the other actions are for institutions. It means that institutions apply to the European Commission and later second researchers as it is in the research and innovation and innovative staff exchange. Apart from RISE, there is also innovative training networks, which is especially for the benefit of early stage researchers and creating international training programs. The next one is co-fund, which is co-funding of regional, national and international programs, both for early stage researchers or experienced researchers, and the Researchers' Night, which is about promoting science, promoting researchers and scientific activities. At the moment, there is an open call for RISE proposals. It was open on 4th December 2018, and the deadline is 2nd April 2019. So still there is some time to build a proposal and to submit it to this call. As for other calls and the forthcoming calls, there will be next call for RISE project on 5th December 2019, and the deadline will be 7th April 2020. As for other types of grants, co-fund will open pretty soon at 4th April 2019. Next, the individual fellowships open call for the individual grants, 11th April. Researchers' Night, 8 October 2019, and ITN, 12 October 2019. These were the main and most characteristic information concerning the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. And now I will give the floor to Magdalena, who will give you specific information concerning RISE project. Magda, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Adam, for the floor and for the introduction. Just to remind you the deadlines of the call, as Adam has shortly said, the call was open on the 4th December last year and will close on 2nd April this year. The budget for this year's call is 80 million euro. So first I would like to tell you what is RISE about. Adam has already presented in a short way all Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, and now I would like to tell you a little bit more about RISE. But first I would like to show you the idea of RISE based on a quote. The quote by George Bernard Shaw, who said that if you have an apple and I have an apple and we exchange these apples, then you and I will still have each one apple. But if you have an idea and I have an idea and when we exchange these ideas, then each of us will have two ideas. And this is RISE about exchanging ideas, about exchanging knowledge and sharing experiences. So as you can see, every partner who participates in RISE can benefit from the actions. As for the main features, the RISE objectives are to promote international and intersectoral collaboration through research and innovation staff exchanges, as well as to develop common culture of research and innovation. It should also contain the international intersectoral transfer of knowledge and sharing of ideas, and this should be achieved while implementing a common research and innovation project. And we have to engage into this project highly skilled research and innovation staff who, after completing the project, should enhance their skills, their knowledge, and the level of innovation they present in their daily research. The expected impact of participating in the action should be strengthening the interaction between organizations in the academic and non-academic sectors, as well as between Europe and third countries. Europe understood here as the countries from the EU and the associated countries and third countries are all those who are not in these two groups. Some details about RISE projects. They might last up to 4 years. They, of course, can be shorter, but usually the submitted proposal foresee a 4-year project, 4-year action. As for the minimum eligibility conditions, if you build up a consortium, you have to engage at least 3 participants from 3 different countries. 2 of which have to be located, have to be the EU or associated countries. As for the institution and their sector, they can be both academic and non-academic sector when you plan the intersectoral knowledge exchange. The support is foreseen for the secondments of our staff member. Secondment, that means that you do not, that the individual researchers do not implement the projects and do not do their research in their own home institution, but they're seconded, which means they're sent to partner organization in order to do the research, to take part in research training. As for the secondments, they have to be international. What does that mean? It means that if you have in consortium countries from the same organizations from the same country, apart from the 3 different countries minimum, you cannot plan secondments between institutions located in one country. And what is also not eligible, these are the secondments between institutions located outside Europe. As for European secondments, there is also a very important issue. These secondments might only be intersectoral secondment. What does that mean? It means that you can only second a person between academic and non-academic institution. When you have 2 universities, the secondments, 2 universities in Europe, these secondments would not be considered eligible. How long can we plan these secondments? The maximum duration within these 4 years that we can plan are 540 researchers month per one consortium. This is the maximum number of secondments that we can plan in our project. And as for partners coming from third countries, from other third countries, some of them are foreseen for financing and some of them not. These countries such as the USA, Canada, Japan or Russia are excluded from financing under Horizon 2020. And in this case, if they participate in the action, they have to foresee their own budgets for these secondments or ask their national authorities and to see if there are any other actions that might support their participation in Horizon 2020 projects. We said that we can second staff within RISE projects, and now let's see who is considered staff in these projects. So firstly, staff must be considered staff of the sending organization based on the national law. So the type of relationship has to be applicable in a national law, and the staff has to be under direct instruction of sending organization during secondment. The people have to be actively engaged or linked to research and innovation activities at the sending institution for at least 1 month immediately prior to the first secondment. So they have to be either employed or be PhD candidates enrolled in PhD programs. There has to be a link to the sending institution. And the staff has to be one of these 5 groups that can be seconded. So either early stage researcher, experienced researcher, but except for researchers, also administrative, managerial, and technical staff can be seconded within the project. But what is important, the secondments have to be merit-based. These are not like study visits, they have to be secondments related to the research program. So what secondments are eligible? Now I will show you the possible way of secondments, and you can see the sketches of the globe, those that are gray with green, Europe marked in green. This will be secondment from or to Europe, and this colorful globe refers to other third countries. So first, what is eligible? The secondments in Europe, between European institutions, but we have to keep in mind that only secondments between academic and non-academic institutions are possible. And as for secondments from Europe to third countries and the other way around, it's also possible to have intersectoral secondment, so from academia to non-academia, and the other way around. But it is also possible in case of these international secondments to second people from academia to academia, something which is not possible within Europe. But we have to keep in mind that not all third countries are eligible for funding, and the list of countries that can be funded under Horizon 2020, you can find them in the call documents presented for each call. And now as for the money, as for the budget, as you might know, those of you who have ever participated in the Maria Skłodowska-Curie action or have ever taken place in some trainings or webinars, you have probably heard that Maria Skłodowska-Curie actions budget are the easiest to prepare when applying for a grant, and then the easiest to report after at the reporting stage. So we have two types of cost. Firstly, staff member unit cost, which are 2,100 euro per month. And these are the costs considered as top of allowance to support travel, accommodation, and subsistence cost for staff member during secondment, which means in practice that these are the costs that each person who is seconded to a partner organization receives per month. So if you are seconded per 2 months, we have to double the amount. For 3 months, then we have to triple that. So one type of cost. The other one, these are the institutional costs, also considered as monthly unit costs. And then we have two subgroups. Firstly, research, training, and networking cost, in the amount of 1,800 euros per month, as well as management and indirect cost in the amount of 700 euros per month. And as for third partner countries, as they do not receive the budgets on their own accounts, even those that are eligible for funding, but they can claim these costs from the European organization, from the beneficiaries, when they are taking part in, when they're organizing and taking part in networking activities as well as in training activities. Because we have to keep in mind that as every action within Maria Skłodowska-Curie, also RISE are not purely research project, but also research and training actions. So except for secondments and research, we have to also plan some additional actions such as training, dissemination actions, summer schools, winter schools, or workshops foreseen for the whole consortium. What can be the opportunities for the third partner countries, third partner organization in such projects? Firstly, you can become a project partner, which means you can both welcome seconded staff from European countries, as well as send your staff to European organizations. You can, of course, take part in research and innovation activities, as well as in all training activities foreseen for the actions. And you can send your own staff to Europe with EC funding for if you are eligible to receive that funding. You host seconded researchers from Europe, but you also should get involved in project management bodies in order to be present there and to have your voice when it comes to the decision made for the whole consortium. And you can also claim costs for research, training and networking activities and for management from the indirect cost, as well as you can also claim the cost for staff member unit costs, provided that you're eligible for these costs. In order to get all the issues sure and in order to know what your duties are and what financing can you receive, it is recommended to sign a partnership agreement once the project is funded. So you don't have to pay attention to partnership agreements while applying, but it is recommended to sign it after you become a project partner when your project is funded. And now a few words about application. We will not guide you to the application process step by step. We just want to give you a very, very brief information where to start and what to expect. So first you have to start with getting familiar with funding and tenders portal, called also Single Electronic Data Exchange, or RIA. A bit complicated, which is a new feature for the European Commission, and it has replaced the participant portal, which you might have got familiar in previous years. So now new portal, but basically informations are the same, but they only look a little bit different. When you would like to apply or see the call documents, you have to find the website of the call, so website of Research and Innovation Staff Exchange 2019. And you have to, of course, either log in if you already have your own account or register in order to first create the account and afterwards to create a proposal, because everything you do, all the actions you undertake, have to be done through this portal. So first you start with looking for calls, then you apply online. There are no paper versions, but what is more interesting, there are also no paper version when it comes to signing the grant agreements, and also when it comes to the reporting after the project finishes or during the project. So something which is new, we are still learning the portal, but it's not something that should discourage you from funding. And of course, if you go to the call website, you will find some call documents, which I call as a to-read list. And these documents are firstly the work program for Marii Skłodowska-Curie actions, so a special chapter foreseen for these actions, where you can find the information of the goals of the action, the scope, and the expected impact. You can also take a look at Guide for Applicants, which is a very, very useful guide that will guide you step by step through the application form. I'll give you some hints on how it should look like and what should be written in each paragraph. You can also take a look at Horizon 2020 Model Grant Agreement for Marii Skłodowska-Curie actions. The Model Grant Agreement, you can read it at this stage, but it will be very important and actually essential at this stage of implementation. You should also read some general annexes to which you will find links on the call website, and the most important one is, I guess, the Annex 1, which describes the countries eligible for funding under Horizon 2020. If you would like to evaluate yourself before sending your application, you can also take a look at the self-evaluation form. And in order to get to know the process better, you can read the guide to submission and evaluation process. If your research might raise any ethical issues that should be elaborated and taken into consideration, then you really have to write a guide for how to complete your ethics self-assessment. It is a kind of a big document, but still you have to only see the paragraphs that refer to your research. And it's a very, very good guidebook. And the last document on this list is the European Charter and Code for Researchers. So the document that describes the ways you should deal with your staff while seconding them, and also the staff that you will welcome from the partner organization. So to read list, you have it here. And so what is the proposal structure? How does it look like? We have three parts of the proposal, as you can see, A, B1, and B2. Part A is to be filled online only, so you fill it in the portal. And these administrative forms that you have to fill in concern the general information on the proposal, the names and contacts of participating organization, both beneficiaries and partner organization. There are also information on budget, ethics, and so-called call-specific questions that refer basically only to this RISE call. Then you have to submit two parts of the proposal, of the merit content of the proposal. And the first part, then you have table of content. You have to describe the excellence of the project. So why is it important? The impact it should have both on the research area, but on as well as your institution and the researchers that will take part. And also you have to describe the implementation. So how will you implement the project once it's funded? But you have to pay attention that there is a page limit for points 2 to 4, and you have to stick to the page limit, which is 30 pages. The last page has no overall page limit, but there are some limits per specific points. And here you put your references. There is a table of capacities of participating organizations. In case you have any ethical issues foreseen for the project, you have to prepare ethics self-assessment here. And you have to also include letters of commitment of partner organizations, so letter of commitment from third countries organizations. But if you would like to get some additional support, we are inviting you to another EU-funded project, another Horizon 2020 funded project, which is called Net for Mobility Plus. And this is the project which is implemented in the cooperations between national contact points for Marii Skłodowska key reactions, and it is coordinating by us, by the Polish ANCP. What can you find at the website? You can find some leaflets, you can find the success stories, and we are inviting you to read the success stories of others, and maybe in this way you will get inspired to write your own proposals. We will also then guide you to our website, our social media, and we would like to ask you to subscribe for our YouTube channel, to follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And if you are ready to submit your proposal and need some extra help, we can help you to find a partner, because there is a list of expression of interests of organizations who are looking partners for them consortia. And we also have published some practical guides, which are additional documents that really guide you step by step, and they are more detailed than the guide for applicants that I have mentioned before. We are also conducting webinars and do the frequently asked questions blog, which considers questions to both submission and the implementation of the projects. There are some screenshots from our website. As you can see, there is a nice package for people who are currently applying for RISE projects. You can see some videos, the handbook to download and to read very, very carefully, as it is a very great help. You can also see you can see the handbooks in the right top corner. There are 3 handbooks that were previously elaborated. Now we have added the RISE handbook. And in the middle, you can see the success stories coming from a few countries. And these are actually the success stories from RISE projects. And I would like to show you 2 of them right now. But if you like to, just a brief information on the projects, but if you'd like to get to know a little bit more about the content of the projects, about why they are important, what were the idea behind the projects, what were the obstacles when applying, but also what are the benefits in participating in these projects, we are inviting you to read the stories. So first example of RISE project is the project called Renoir, and it is, as you can see, it's been implemented since January 1st, 2016, and it will finish December 21st this year. It was funded it was funded with the overall budget of over 1.3 million euros, but the EU contribution for this is 1.2 million euro. The difference between these 2 numbers are the countries which are not eligible for funding. And what partners do we have? We have 3 partners, except for the Technical University of Warsaw, who coordinates the project. We have 3 other European partners, 2 from Slovenia and another 1 from Poland. So these are the beneficiaries. You can also see their contribution. But there are also some partners from the US, as you can see, and there are quite a lot of them. There are 6 partners from the US, there are 2 partners from Russia, and 1 partner from Singapore. If you'd like to read a little bit more about this project, which is very, very interesting because it refers to the reverse engineering and the mechanisms of information spreading in the online media. So very interesting, and we're encouraging you to read the information. And the other project with a very beautiful logo, and it's called Klatro-Probes, and it's been implemented since January 2018 and will finish in December 2021. Coordinated also by Polish institutions, by the University of Wrocław, with the EU contribution almost 100,000 euro. As you can see, there are 4 other beneficiaries coming from the Ukraine, from Germany, Romania and Austria, and there is also 1 partner coming from Russia. And this project is within chemistry. So that were the information about RISE. I hope we have encouraged you to take part in the actions, and you will consider applying either this year or in upcoming calls. Thank you for your participations. Here you have also our contacts in case you have any further questions. You can either contact me, my name is Magdalena Chomicka, or my colleague Adam Guszuk, whom you have met at the beginning of the presentations. And I will give back right now the floor to Adam.
Okay, thank you very much, Magda, for this nice presentation. Dear guests, we are still available for you. We are waiting for your questions, for a couple of minutes more. So if you would like to ask something or comment our slides, what we said today, please use the chat facility. You can write all your comments and questions there in the window. We have a first question. Is Armenia eligible for rice call? Of course, Armenia is eligible. Armenia is associated to Horizon 2020, so all the institutions, all the organizations from Armenia are eligible, and they have the same rules as all the European Union member states. So all organizations from Armenia receive funding and can be active in all activities of the RISE project.
We have another question. If there is a special partner search for rice, no, there isn't a special portal for rice. But if you go to the call website in funding and tenders portal, there will be a link to a partner search. Especially for this call, but there is no separate website. But of course, we're also encouraging you to look for RISE partners on the website of Net for Mobility Plus project.
Dear participants, I can see that we don't have any more questions. So in this case, thank you very much for the participation. It was nice to see you here and talk to you today. As we said during the presentations, the slides will be available at the EaP Plus project website. And the recording of the full recording of the webinar will be also available at the project website, as well as on YouTube channel. Well, one more minute. We have one more question from. We have a question. What are the requirements for project results implementation? In what format do we have to confirm some scientific articles? Well, in case of all projects of Marii Skłodowska-Curie and RISE projects as well, during writing the proposal, we choose so-called deliverables of the project. The applicants choose it by themselves, and the deliverables are a kind of proofs that the project is implemented well, and it's a tool for monitoring as well. And the deliverables can be scientific articles, but not only that might be some reports, they might be events or patents, for example, ready and prepared during the project. And anything that the applicants wish to plan and think that would be a good thing to show as a proof of implementation of the project. We decided during the writing of the proposal, and then during implementation of the proposal, we have to achieve all of them and show that we have done all the deliverables planned before. Okay, thanks again for your participation. We invite you to visit the websites, the EaP Plus project website, as well as the Net4Mobility Plus project website, and of course you are welcome to join the future webinars, of which the next one will be on 21st of February concerning financial issues of Horizon 2020. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.